The Big Ten tournament gets underway today. All the magic starts. The bottom four teams playing today, but then tomorrow Indiana gets underway with the first game, and it's against a Michigan team that's playing well, but also needs to win. I think that they need this win too. I don't know if they need it as badly as Indiana. Maybe they need it worse. But both of these, this is another play-in game. And Indiana has had several of these, which is amazing to me because they keep losing them, but they're still in play-in games somehow.
Yeah, frankly, I've been surprised that some of the projections have them like the first team out or second team out. I would think they'd be deeper on the chart than that. I think there's a little bit of most of the bracket projections I've read said they need to win 2 games. Some people say they have to win 1. I would think it would have to be 2 just because of the way they finished the season. But, Michigan, when they played them in Assembly Hall, that was, to that point in the season, their worst performance of the season, and over the entire season is probably one of their 2 worst performances of the season. And Michigan played phenomenal. They made shots, and they ended up winning by 18. That was sort of the start of Indiana's downfall.
Yeah, it came off of the emotional win over Purdue, and they were just not there. And plus, Michigan played a great game, but Michigan has to be scary. They just won a game without Hunter Dickinson even playing.
Right.
So that's not a good hope for Indiana, but they definitely need to win. I've gone back and forth on if they beat Michigan and play Illinois solid, I still think they have a chance, just only based upon what I'm seeing on these projections. Because I was surprised. I was like, I think yesterday I was looking and Lenardi had him still just in his first 4 out, which I was like, wow. If they can win a game and then not and play well against Illinois, that might be enough. I don't know if it's the net rankings and their KenPom numbers staying pretty under 50 in the 40s. It's helping them, obviously. But they just they've had a few good wins, but they've had so many opportunities at wins and just couldn't get it. And I'm shocked that that's not sticking in the minds of these pollsters more than anything else.
Yeah, I think part of it is, a lot of other teams in the same boat with them have the same issues. And what it's always going to come down to is, in some of these conference tournaments, and to date, I don't think there have been very many of surprise winners of these conference tournaments. If some team, if Nebraska gets hot and wins the Big Ten tournament, or if, I don't know, TCU gets hot and wins the Big 12, or, Oregon State wins, the Pac-12, some off the wall team wins.
Looking, the Big Ten is wide open this year. Is I guess the best way to put it. I have no clue. If I was making a bet, I'm like, it would just be a guess. There's no. I don't think that Purdue is any stronger than Illinois. That Wisconsin shouldn't win it, but they probably will because that's all they keep doing is winning games. Does a Michigan team get hot? Do they respond to Juwan Howard coming back? There's so many things that's going to play into this and it's much like college basketball this year. The parity has been awesome. There's some really good teams at the top, but there's nobody dominating. And that's what's, I think there are at least 10 teams that could probably win the national championship this year.
Yeah, I agree. If I'm going to pick a team to win the Big Ten tournament, I'm probably going to go with a team that only has to win 3 games, not 4. That makes the most sense. Asking a team to win 4 is a lot, and not only in terms of you're playing, you get 4 chances to get beat, but you're also dealing with fatigue especially on the 3rd and 4th day. So if I'm going to go with somebody, I'm probably going to go with an Illinois or Wisconsin or Purdue. Those would be the main. Ohio State seems to have gone a little sour here at the end. I guess they could turn it around. Michigan State doesn't seem to be quite themselves. Iowa's the team that nobody's talking about. They're the most surprising team in the Big Ten this year. I didn't think they'd be very good at all, and they're clearly in the tournament, and they're a dangerous team.
Absolutely. Yesterday, a press conference held in Indianapolis. I'm not sure if you saw this. Hoosiers for Good. Um, it is a group. I don't know who has actually started it, but basically, this is going to be Indiana's NIL arm. Is how I'm taking it. It has a board that includes someone from Cook Medical as chair and president. Calbert Cheney is the vice chair and vice president. There's someone from the city of Indianapolis, and then the other people are from companies that are board members of their companies. Fred Glass will serve as the organization's legal counsel. Hopefully, he's not writing their contracts. But this is basically going to be Indiana's NIL arm, Rick. It's the verbiage. It's a nonprofit has been launched to raise awareness for Indiana charitable causes by pairing them with community-minded Indiana University student athletes seeking to use their platform and influence to give positive social change. So basically, this is Indiana's arm of, I think, when they go to recruit someone to say, hey, here's an NIL package we have set up for you as well, where you could do some speeches, yada, yada, but you're going to be paid X. This is how I'm taking it. I'm hoping to talk to the chairman on Friday, but that's where you have to be, I guess, now. This would be a first of its kind, I believe, but it's not sanctioned by the school, but you can tell it's the unofficial arm.
Because of the representation of who's going to be there. And I think it's similar things going on in Kentucky. I know that I think it's today down at the General Assembly in Frankfort, Calipari, and I think maybe even Scott Davenport and Darren Horn at Northern Kentucky, and a number of coaches are going to be there talking about what kind of bill they'd like to have passed in the Kentucky State Legislature involving NIL opportunities. So, it's a wise thing to do, and I think it's a necessary thing to do as you move forward in recruiting, because as much as I think everybody says NIL opportunities can't be offered or outwardly discussed when you're recruiting guys, we all know that's not the case.
Right, absolutely. What are they looking at legislation wise in Kentucky to legislate it?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at the entire press release. It came out like yesterday, the day before, that they were all going to be there today. And I know Calipari and Mitch Barnhart of Kentucky have already been there and testified once in front of a committee about, what they would like in the bill. And in terms of what the specifics are, I can't tell you that, Jim.
I was just curious because I know each school has their own way of doing things, and this is Indiana's now. And this is also a way to disassociate with NIL people that are saying, hey, this is for NIL, that are not school sanctioned per se, because there's no control whatsoever by Indiana or any school when you have a complete outside party. They're obviously going to be in communique with each other, working hand in hand. So I think this is also the way to cut that stuff out.
Yeah, it makes sense to have organization to it and have some kind of knowledge of where the money's coming from, what guys can and can't do or can and can't be paid for. I think you run the risk of having your athletes be associated with things that wouldn't reflect well on the school. And I think you want to minimize that as best you can.
What's come up for you this weekend? I know it's a busy, busy week because every major conference tournament is going on. If they haven't started yet, we'll be starting today, most likely.
Yeah, I'll probably see tomorrow. I'm going up to Indy for the game. It's 11:30, right in the morning.
Yep, early
nice
start.
Early game. Louisville plays tonight at 9:30 against Virginia, a team they just lost to at home last Saturday. They played them twice and lost by 10 and 12. Louisville might have played its best game of the year last night in beating Georgia Tech, although Josh Pastner did bench his two best players for the start of the game for, quote, disciplinary reasons. So we'll see. Virginia's been probably the hardest team for Louisville to beat since they've been in the ACC. And Virginia's sort of a quasi bubble team too. They're in worse shape than Indiana. So, but it's Tony Bennett. They could get on a roll, and they're a kind of team that could win the ACC tournament and then steal a bid. Kentucky doesn't get started until Friday in the SEC tournament, which is in Tampa this year, and it might be the best tournament in the country if you get down to the seeded Final Four of, I think it's Kentucky and Auburn on one side of the bracket and Arkansas and Tennessee on the other side. All four of those teams are really good. So it's a big conference tournament week of today. You'll have wall-to-wall basketball. Doesn't the Big Ten start today?
Yep. Two
Big
games
Ten
this evening
today.
at
There's
6
4
o'clock this
ACC
evening.
games today. There's the Big East starts today. So, this is one of those days where you can watch college basketball all day long, and we'll kind of keep another eye on the Louisville basketball coaching search, because as soon as they get eliminated, that's going to be topic one in this town. And some people will even keep an eye on how Rick Pitino's doing in his conference tournament.